intention here is for us to really hear from you about what this process is of bringing in a spiritually guided business. Yeah, Jay?
Let me just say, there's probably different events you've been at where people come on stage and talk about how fabulous people are. And we had a meeting with these guys earlier, and, we love them, they love us, and what we asked them was to tell the truth about what their experience has been like creating spiritually guided business and spiritually guided offers, and really just speak to that process, both the joy and exhilaration of it, as well as any challenge in it. And so that's really where we're coming from, as well as you guys really seeing, gosh, on the other end of this, it can come into fruition, it can land in the marketplace, and you can have a business that really is the expression of your soul that works in the world from a financial perspective.
And I want to say that we really know these people's businesses because we have helped them build these platforms. So, we're connected to these folks.
Yeah. Right.
Who would like to start? Who's got a mic? Lissa, you've got a mic.
Thank you. How many of you are feeling like you just want to squeeze your head off right now? Because okay? They said tell the truth. So
Right.
when I was first introduced to this work, I went in thinking I was ready to know what it was supposed to be. But I was really committed to what I thought it already was. Anybody know what that feels like? And with some really loving but very searingly honest feedback, okay? It became clear to me that I was really attached to it being something that helped me feel safe. And what I had to do, and it took some time, so if you're in the soup, I understand, was work on the inner scaffolding that helped me let go of what I thought it was supposed to be and what I was afraid it had to be safe to put my own self out into the world. Now, if any of you heard me speak at the last quest, I talked about feeling like I was going to be a complete nut job freak if I told people what I did. So part of it was embracing the fact that I am. And I'm freak out. And here's the thing that seems insane before you let that happen, and it's this: I'm safer as the freak that I am than the normal person I thought I had to be.
Okay, there's a little pearl of wisdom right there. Would you repeat that, please?
Being the freak I am is safer than the normal person I thought I had to be.
What had you come to know that?
A dear friend of mine who I'd kept, so I was doing this crazy thing. I didn't have a name yet. For a long time, very quietly behind the scenes, okay? I needed to out myself, which, yeah. And I didn't tell a lot of people what I was doing because I was afraid it was just going to kick my ass. So I went to a friend I had known for a long time, let her in on the gig, offered to do it for her. She had a revolutionary experience, and about a week later came to me and said, I love you, and I'm really pissed off at you because you kept this from me. And you've been more concerned about what this might do to you than what it would do for me. And when she helped me see the value this freak I am can be, so she dared me. And using what I had learned, I put the soul map up in about 30 days, and in 45 days, I was booked for 6 months solid.
In 45 days, she was booked for 6 months solid. Now you can hear the level of commitment she had going over the edge. Wow. Lissa built her business 400%. Talk about your list and your social media experience, please.
I didn't have one. Well, not for a freak. No, I didn't. Well, that's not true. I had one. I let it go because it was for a business and a platform that wasn't representative of what I was doing. So I started from scratch. And it went berserk. I mean, I had people asking to connect from every direction possible, and I had a hard time keeping up with it. To the degree that I got an invitation on Facebook.
Essentially cold called.
Cold call from Malaysia. Would you come and speak at an international conference for the Napoleon Hill Foundation?
Oh my God.
She was invited to speak in front of 2,500 people. When we do our webinar, some of you heard our Wounds webinar, we show a picture of Lissa on the Jumbotron, standing in front of herself. First speaking gig.
And it is truly trippy to have 3 two-story Jumbotrons behind you while you're talking to people, let me tell you. So when these guys say to you that extraordinary things are possible, they're not kidding. They're really not kidding.
And what I want to really point out is the degree to which Lissa surrendered her sense of personal safety to do this. How do you feel about your personal safety now?
It's not an issue. The only time it becomes an issue is when I try and control it. The only time it becomes an issue is when I don't trust myself.
There you go.
That's really all that it is.
That's really it, right? The degree to which you trust yourself is the degree to which you can step out in the world. And how do you know you're trustworthy? How do you know you're count-onable? Well, if there's nothing hiding out, no parts of you don't have to be scared of. You can just be you and step out.
That is great, Lissa.
And that's really a lot of the work that we've done is help build that internal sense of like, I am count-onable for me.
Yeah, I'm going to show up for
Forget
me.
accountability. I wanted to be count-onable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's great.
Thank you.
Babe. Let's hear from Dike. You know, I would love Dike to follow Lissa because he has really demonstrated an extraordinary degree of self-trust. I'm having tears come to my eyes because it's so moving to see someone take such a leap of faith with their platform. Dike came to us as this highly skilled guy with all this background, including a complete career as a doctor, which he left to serve people in this capacity. And before his platform was even cooked, in my opinion, we knew what it was, we knew who it was for, we knew what the workshop was, but the website wasn't pretty yet. You know, that was like my thing. He was already out there doing workshops. He's done 5 workshops in 2 months.
6 weeks.
6 weeks. 6 weeks? Okay, so Dike's been doing workshops. And I don't even think the final platform has even been fully loaded yet.
No, it's not fully loaded.
And not only that, he was invited by Biznick to do his workshop for their entire social media platform.
They said, would you please book a business? Does anybody know who Biznick is? Yeah, so I had a couple articles go viral on Biznick. And Biznick is a business network, and my workshop is called the 3-Hour Midlife Crisis Workshop. And my articles went viral, and the head of Biznick called me and said, I'd like you to make another exclusive Biznick gig so we can put it #1 on our newsletter that goes out to 18,000 people on Sunday. So you've got, can you do it next Friday because we're going to do this on Sunday? And of course I said, yes. Yeah, say yes and figure out how, huh? So,
yeah, he was building the workshop while he did the workshops. That point totally needs to be made.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if you've got an inkling of your niche, I double dog dare you to book a workshop in 6 weeks. That'll organize you.
Okay, so he's getting like, what, 20, 30 people showing up at the workshops now.
20 people showing up, and I'm doing free workshops, and every time I do it, I redesign it a little bit. But what's been interesting is 5 deliveries in 6 weeks. You know, I am ready for prime time now. It's dialed in. I've got people at the end of this workshop, and basically 3-hour midlife crisis. I spent 15 years not wanting to be a doctor. So that's one of like the major mistakes people can make about a midlife crisis. It has nothing to do with a red sports car, by the way. That's mistake number 2 that you can make. But does anybody else here feel like you can feel the people in your niche in a part of your body? Like right now you can feel them. And if you open that up, it kind of hurts because you can feel them out there. I feel them across my shoulder blades. And it's all those people who did what I did for 15 years, which is say, God, I just don't want to do this anymore. And the little voice says, but you don't know how to do anything else, right? And there's no visible means of support for somebody who wants to change themselves like that, too. So if you've got a drinking problem, there's AA, right? Well, what if there's a life problem? Where's the AA for those of us who want to change our lives? Why is there so much struggle and so much drama and so much confusion and so much pain and so much wasted time? You know, we can do this in 3 hours, honest to God.
So where did the 3-hour midlife crisis come from in terms of you looking at your wounds, going through this process? How did that all show up?
Well, I remember being covered in my own snot in the fetal position on the floor of my living room in a voice dialogue episode with you. And
We did not ask him to say that, okay?
I'm not exaggerating even a little bit. I
I
have
remember.
the tape. And I remember that my core wound is a question that I always used to have running in the back of my awareness. Is everything okay? Is everything going to be okay? Am I okay? Was that okay? Am I okay now? How about now? I got an MD now. How about now? You know? And I realized in this, so I'm just going to go into inner platform here because none of this could have happened without it, right? So I realized that that voice was a voice that came inside of me when I was very small. Can you hear that it's a child, right? But the challenge was, and we went into some really deep parts work, was just bloody awesome. And I realized that what had happened was that as a very small, maybe even a pre-verbal child, I had experienced bliss. And if you've ever experienced bliss, I don't know about you, but for me, it's really hard to tell the difference between bliss and agony, for me. And I looked for reassurance from the people around me. Is that okay? Is everything okay? And I wasn't able to be reassured at the time. And what I've realized through this is that as hard as I've worked and as much as I've wanted to prove myself and everything, that you know how you make hot chocolate, right? And if you don't stir it, it gets a little skin on the top. You know how thin that is, though, right? You can just drop a spoon right through it. Bliss is only that far away in any moment, anytime, even right now for each and every one of us, in my mind. And so this all becomes an exercise in revealing the bliss that's present just under the surface and doing it by focusing on your dreams rather than your problems. And, you know, they don't know that when they're coming into the workshop, but that's what it's about.
Thank you.
Right on.
It's
Thank
great,
you.
Dike. Much appreciated.